Alright, we're in the Cybertruck 13.2.9. I have to go a few places. I'm gonna let the car start going first. Putting in the address now. Here's one, actually here's one. Okay, I'm paying attention. Actually, I need to add a spot for this too. This is the one. Is it the one? Yes. Okay, I'm paying attention. Swear. Okay. Alright. Darn it. I'm dead. Alright. Auto steer unavailable for the rest of this drive. Okay. Did I just cheat? Oh, there's a car. Wow. I didn't even see that. There's another car coming as well. Here they are. Okay, now it should start going. I'm gonna hit the accelerator. I don't see anyone behind us. Wow, I just got a strike. Aside from that, we're moving. Gotta pick up some stuff, and Tesla thought I was just like misbehaving. It should have gave me more time because I was picking up my location, and I've done that before and without issue. But wow, this time Tesla just wasn't having it. All right, today we're gonna revisit something that we visited before, and that's the Waymo. So the Waymo had an issue, and it was bigger than I thought, and it was kind of a big issue. So let's roll the tape for that Waymo right here. Alright, so the Waymo, it was stuck in the middle of the road. And it was stuck in the middle of the road for a lot longer than anticipated. At Real Dawn Adults to get some inside information what this is. Okay, so apparently it was stopped in the middle of the road for 30 minutes. I mean, the entire media freaked out when the Tesla stopped in the road for 30 seconds to do a drop-off, and this Waymo is like in the middle of the road for 30 minutes. That's kind of ridiculous. And so when this rollout is going for Waymo in Atlanta, Tesla is doing their rollout in Austin, you can expect some issues there. I mean, there's just gonna be some issues. They've already gone like hundreds of miles each one of them, and sometimes you run into problems. And of course, Tesla's problems are going to be amplified much more than Waymo, because Waymo is basically apolitical, and Tesla is just much more known at the moment. And there's a Model Y up ahead. And so yeah, the Model Ys they're just really popular around here and everywhere. But so let's see if we could catch up and see it. Alright, it's right there, right ahead of us. Nice looking car, not gonna lie. I do want to see that 7-passenger version in China. I believe there's going to be a 7-passenger version, just to see what it looks like. I mean, maybe the frame is even the same, but If it's not, then I just want to see it. Sometimes in those Asian countries, they just make like minor tweaks and make it work. It's really common for that size Model Y. Like if that's in an Asian country, it'll have like 7 seats, and the last it's 232, and the last 2 seats in the back, they're really small, and it's not even like individual seats. It's just like a small bench. But I mean, for those countries, it works, right? Because sometimes you just need to have 7 people. Cybertruck. There's a Cybertruck. And they got all sorts of accessories on it. And so, yeah, going back to the Waymo, there was already another accident that happened with the Waymo. And so this one is a bigger deal than anything that could have happened to Tesla during that Robotaxi phase. And it's Waymo.
She and her friend are visiting the valley from Arkansas and had always wanted to ride in one.
Because we've always seen them, like on Instagram.
So they ordered it. And while waiting for its arrival near 7th Avenue and Roosevelt in Phoenix, this happened.
Yeah, we were real shocked.
The driverless car was going down this alley and crashed into a pole that was off to the side, crushing the front end of the car.
We heard the smack at first, but we didn't realize that it was the car.
Thankfully, no one was hurt, but it was still a shock, not only to Mitchell, but experts who specialize in these sophisticated cars.
What did surprise me is just how much the car has crumpled up. This is a serious collision between a pole and a car.
The past 2 weeks, we've seen other incidents on social media, like this Waymo driving into oncoming traffic in Tempe on Rural Road near the US 60, and this one swerving in and out of its lane at 15th Avenue south of Thomas. Called Waymo support, who gave her a full refund and called her another Waymo. It also took the same alleyway and got stuck behind the crash.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't
know. Wow. So that it's surprising to a lot of people that what's been marketed as like uncrashable technology can actually crash. And I've mentioned it in other videos before that uncrashable technology is not what you think it is. It's not the same as vision. It works in a different way. It works based off of light bouncing, lasers bouncing off of objects. But what nobody talks about is that it uses... Alright, so it uses lasers, but lasers are subject to this one rule. And I've mentioned in other videos, it's the inverse square law. And the inverse square law is when... Let me pull it up. What is the actual inverse square law in regards to this mean? Inverse square law. The inverse square law applies to LiDAR, light detection and ranging systems, as it does to any point source of light, including the laser pulses used in LiDAR. The intensity of the laser beam decreases with the square of the distance from the source, 1 over d squared, where d is the distance. This means that the distance to the target increases, the signal strength of the reflected light returning to the LiDAR system weakens significantly, impacting the system's ability to detect distance objects accurately. So aside from that, you can get around this just by making bigger, more powerful LiDAR systems. But when something is inherently small, think of humans. Humans are like 20, maybe not 20, maybe 12 to 15 inches wide, right? A normal human. Aside from like Americans, maybe like 50 inches wide. Okay, maybe not that much. Okay, but a light pole is small, it's narrow, so to get the laser beams pointed at the light pole, you would need a lot more concentrated laser, but these lasers, they spread out and they shoot in all sorts of directions. That's the problem with LiDAR, is that it just shoots everywhere. It's not like vision where we just see stuff in 2D. It has to shoot out these lasers in all sorts of directions so that it can find out what's going on. And we've seen in other videos that when LiDAR is, I mean, it ruins camera sensors. And don't point your phone at the LiDARs because it'll ruin your phone. It'll burn into your phone sensor. And what else is it burning into? Who knows? But there is an inherent problem with that, is that the more energy you use, the more power you use, well, the stronger the LiDAR system. And what else are you burning aside from camera sensors, right? So the technology is iffy. The technology is iffy. Sorry, this portion I am driving by myself. I had to overtake the system because I need to park somewhere. And there's just too many people. I didn't want to risk it, and I'm just gonna choose this spot. That'll do it for me. So because of the inverse square law, LiDAR's just not perfect. And it's a problem that is very hard, very difficult to overcome. And the only way you overcome it is just by giving it more power. Just give it a whole lot more power. And that way it'll work out. What is this car doing? Are we good? Are we good? Yes. This is self-parking, in case you didn't notice. Yeah, so I'm sure LiDAR can work. It's just that this car was in an alley, which amplifies the problem, because alleys, they're not going to have conventional streets like structure. They're not going to have the lines. So the car has to drive based on context, and it's just going, it may just miss out on the poles because it doesn't have typical vision. It's basically traveling in the dark. However, it's using its hands and it's touching everywhere, but it misses one spot because it's just too narrow. Like, it can feel out the surroundings, but it can't feel out this particular pole because it's too narrow. Be right back. Continue on. Is the car gonna move, or should move? Giving it some acceleration pedal. Alright, so aside from Waymo, Tesla also has some issues with their Robotaxis. And please don't run over this guy. Thank you so much.
I don't think it knows what it's doing. This is the Tesla with no one in it. Only a passenger. That's crazy. I decided to get behind it, but I don't think it knows what it's doing. Hey, Robotaxi. I'm gonna go around it. Hopefully it doesn't hit me.
So maybe I was waiting for a ride at that certain location. It had the emergency blinkers on. Not a good look. So here's another one.
Right,
and this is like
Thank you, buddy.
the infamous one where it got stuck at the... Look, it was stuck behind the car. Oh no, oh no. It was stuck behind the car. And the equivalent one, right, it was stuck in that portion to do the drop off, which isn't good. It shouldn't stop there to do a drop off, but it did, and it was there for a little bit. So aside from that, I guess it could have been worse, and being worse is being on Waymo's level. and the Waymo's level is bad. And so here's another time where the Robotaxi got stuck. This is interesting. Trying to squeeze through this narrow place, but it can't. It gives up because it feels like it might get into an accident.
I didn't touch it. Wondering if you stopped it. Yeah, I was wondering. It should have been there.
And the comment is Tesla Robotaxi failed to squeeze through a very tight gap. Fortunately, there was a $200,000 human driver on board to rescue it. Tesla lacks LiDAR and radar and glitches more at night in fog and rain versus Waymo Robotaxis. I mean, we just went through a Waymo Robotaxi that hit into a pole just on its own. So the idea that Waymo is uncrashable technology is patently false. It's not uncrashable technology. In fact, you'll be hard to find crashes from Tesla and using FSD compared to LiDAR-based crashes. I mean, I could pull up some more LiDAR-based crashes, aside from the one that is already well documented, and we don't really need to beat a dead horse. So, yeah, this uncrashable technology is what people are believing, that they just don't know how the technology works, how inverse square law works. You can definitely crash with LiDAR sensors. I mean, if you have just a pole in the middle of a road and it's upright, there's a good chance that it'll crash into it. Just because the sensors cannot spot it on time. Maybe you have a mixture of vision and LiDAR. It'll make the system more foolproof, and in some ways LiDAR is superior to vision, in some ways vision is superior to LiDAR. But to make a blanket statement that, you know, the LiDAR is just better, it's just, you haven't thought it through. Because as humans, we don't have LiDAR sensors in our eyes. And that goes back to Elon's first principles and why he went through the vision. Because humans, we decipher. LiDAR cannot inherently read text. The technology isn't vision based, it's laser based. It bounces off subjects and gets response. That's why you need the mapping. That's why you need to know how fast a certain area is. That's why you don't go off-road with LiDAR systems, because it cannot see. It cannot go to areas that aren't mapped and have pre-populated metadata. So it's not like a universal type of solution. That's why you can see Teslas driving in like rural China, places that are not mapped and that are constantly changing, and that can have like a road built like overnight and not mapped. That's why, in my opinion, it's just a superior technology. There's no better way to say that. Even Chinese companies like Xpeng, they're already starting to head to vision only. You know what else is going all vision? Robots. Robots that are being developed right now, they're all vision based. And what is a robot? A robot is just a moving machine. This car is a moving machine. The robot is vision based, all of them. So because Tesla makes such good vision based systems right now in their autonomous vehicles, they have a huge step up in developing robots. A huge leg up. They're going to have a predictable modeling of how to move already. And that is a huge factor. Alright. And that's all I got for this video. I'm just going to find a parking over there, way in the shaded area, because I'm going to get something really nice to eat at this Korean market. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share. See you in the next one. Take care.